Hello, friends. A warm welcome to the Wellness Inspired Podcast, where you can find inspiration, motivation, empowerment, and the pursuit of a wellness lifestyle. I'm your host, Sherry Davidson, and as always, I am here with my Terrier Mix rescue dog and co-host, Finn. And we both want to wish you a happy New Year. I hope you all are off to a healthy start in 2023. I love the new year because it is a time to reflect on my life over the past year, my accomplishments, failures, and stagnations. Reflection helps me stay on course, redirect, or abort the mission. And it's essential for my happiness and personal growth, which is very valuable to me. I've heard many people say they don't believe in New Year's resolutions, goals, or planning. You should just do it all year long. Well, there is some truth to that. But I also believe you need to sit down 1 to 2 times a year and look at the big picture, plan, and set goals. Businesses sit down every year and discuss the goals and plans to implement for optimal growth. So why doesn't it make sense to do it personally too? Some people will squawk while others welcome the good old New Year's resolutions, and I happen to be one that welcomes the New Year resolutions. And I am excited to do this podcast because if you set yourself up for a successful year of change, I want to fuel your determination to become the best healthy version of yourself, rather than watching as your New Year's resolutions fade each week. It happens. We've all been there. Like I said, many people don't think about New Year's resolutions or plans because they think they are made to be broken. The sad thing is, they usually are broken. Think about it. January is the gym's most successful month. We see funny memes about resolution failure on social media. Some of them very funny, I have to admit. We read blogs and articles on the web about how to achieve our New Year goals. We see this every year, but nothing changes. Resolution failure over and over again. So people take the stance, why fail? Don't set resolutions or plans at all. And I want to open your mind to a different perspective. It is not the resolutions that are the problem. Goals and dreams are vital to our growth and well-being. The problem is change is hard. So I encourage you to set some goals and exciting plans for 2023. To maximize your chances for success this year, I want to help you tackle the real problem. Change is hard. Are you ready? All right. Well, let's jump in. This is the first episode of 2023, and I've got a great year planned. I'm excited to share it all with you. So let's do this. Every year, millions of people across the globe set New Year's resolutions. In the United States, 38.5% of people will set goals on January 1 every year. And believe it or not, the top 3 resolutions are health related. Exercising more, number 1, eating healthier, and losing weight. Unfortunately, 23% will quit in their first week, and only 36% will make it past the first month. 9% will successfully keep their New Year's resolutions. Those stats are not very good, but the struggle is real. And we know how hard it is to make healthy change. But why is it so hard? Does this sound familiar to you? You have decided that your life will be much better if you put in the effort and get up an hour earlier every morning to exercise. Yet you still find yourself hitting the snooze button for the extra hour of sleep again. People don't fail to reach their goals because they don't have a real desire for change. In fact, this could not be further from the truth. Friends, I'll say it again, change is hard. People fail to reach their goals mainly because they have conflicting priorities, they are impatient about outcomes, or they have low confidence in their ability to make positive change, or all of these together. Do any of these resonate with you? And what if I told you healthy change can be easy? Now, there is a lot here. And with that said, I am excited to announce that I will be offering online classes to help you and support you in the struggle to make change. My goal in these online classes is to make change easy for you. So that's coming up in the future. But as I said, there's a lot to discuss here. So today, I want to share some tips, thoughts, and motivation to get you started on the right foot in 2023. And we're going to talk about 3 steps to get you going. And the first step is to cultivate awareness. Cultivate awareness of where you want to go and where you are. Ultimately, the goal is to close the gap between where you are and where you want to go by making small, sustainable changes. Easily, of course, and that's why I'm here. But here's a thought experiment for you. Get some paper, yes, paper. You're going to do some longhand stream of consciousness writing. Julianne Cameron calls them morning pages in her book, The Artist's Way. And throughout the years, I have found the morning pages to be a helpful technique, especially in creative endeavors. And one of the things I miss about design is creativity. And if you're new to the podcast, I did interior design before I did traditional Chinese medicine. And I miss the creative outlet. And one day I decided to fulfill this need. And I decided I would create my life and design it according to a beautiful story. And I have a quote up at home that says, "Make your story so beautiful that mermaids would have a hard time believing it." And that stuck with me. Now, my story is definitely a work in progress, and it is a lifelong commitment. Morning pages have helped open my creativity in the past, but I don't think they necessarily need to be written in the morning to do this. You choose what works best for you because only you know that. But for January, take some time to write a stream of consciousness about who you would be in optimal health and well-being. No thinking, just writing, whatever comes to mind. It can be petty, angry, fanciful, dreamy, or plain nonsense. It doesn't matter. You will see where you are, you will see where you want to go, and what you're struggling with in the end. Use this to create your vision. The goal is to close the gap between who you are today and where you want to be. And as I said earlier, this step is a lifelong commitment you are building on yearly. It doesn't happen overnight, so don't get frustrated. You have to start somewhere. And for those of you that think it's too late to change, no, it is not too late to change. Step 2, know your values. I have another thought experiment for you. The most basic form of introspection is simply asking yourself what you value. Knowing your values is like being handed a powerful set of binoculars to look into the inner depths of yourself. This knowledge gives you X-ray vision of how to best live out your days and make decisions that align with who you are as a human being. It's what gets you closer to living your best healthy life. It can strengthen empathy within ourselves and understanding, but getting it isn't always easy. Understanding value requires looking deep down inside honestly, which takes some serious self-reflection. You have to observe and try values on. 3 years ago, I would have never said integrity was one of my values, but I've watched myself over the years choose it over and over again. Now it's in my list of top 5. And values change over the years. So it's good to reevaluate often to see where you are. So if you had to pick the top 5 values, I'll put a list of values in the show notes. So if you want to choose from that list, that's great. But what would they be? I'll tell you mine. Mine are well-being, personal growth, authenticity, adventure, and integrity. And remembering your values will be your guiding principles throughout your life and guide us to a healthier version of ourselves. I mean, one of my values is adventure, and that's where I came up with going on my adventure runs. And I'm super happy with them. So you can see how they start to kind of guide you and when you make your decisions. But values are also great motivators, and we'll talk more about that in another episode. The third step in getting you started in conquering your health goals this year is to set realistic goals and ask questions, sometimes hard questions. Okay, so start by writing down one goal you would like to accomplish. Don't aim too high. Many people fail because their goals are not realistic. I want to start going to the gym 7 days a week, no days off for a whole year. That's a big goal. And I'm not saying you can't do it, but is it realistic? Especially if you're just starting. Set small goals and build on that. You're more likely to stick to it. So let's say you want to set a goal around eating healthier. Be specific. You want to eat less sugar. It's good to get even more specific, but for this exercise, we'll stay right here. So now you can do anything you want throughout the year. You can eat birthday cake 365 days for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if you choose. But why? Why might you sustain eating less sugar this year? How might it benefit you? And why might it be good for you to eat less sugar? Why could it work for you? Think about these questions and see how it fits into your idea of who you want to be and where you want to be and where you currently are now and who you currently are now. Again, remember, the goal is to close that gap for where you want to go and where you are. And see what you come up with. Also, try it on with your top values and see what comes up there. Now, this is a lot of work, but I guarantee you it's worth it. Now, there is so much more to making change easy, but these 3 steps are a solid place to start. And if you decide to do the online classes, you will be ahead of the game by doing this. We'll dive in deeper and learn a lot more. I'm hoping that the online classes will be out in February, March. I will definitely keep you guys posted. So I hope to see you there. And also, if you apply these 3 steps to your New Year goals, I would love to know how you're doing at the end of the month. I want you to be a part of the 9% of people who keep their New Year's resolutions this year. And before I go, I just want to give you about 7 other tips that can help you reach your goals. These are pretty general, but I think they're big when you're trying to set goals and conquer them. So number 1, make a commitment to yourself. I think this is really important. And I think here, making a commitment to yourself on different levels. So definitely making a commitment to yourself in the bigger picture, right? I want to eat healthier. I think that's a very general goal. So I am committed to eating healthier this year. Now, what that ends up looking like by the end of the year could be completely different than what you envision in the beginning once you get in there and start doing the iterative process, which is something that we'll talk about later on too. You have to make that commitment to yourself to live healthier, to eat better, and go from there. Number 2, set tangible measures of success. It is so important to measure what you're doing, to test and measure. We talk about it a lot in entrepreneurship and business classes, and you need to do the same thing when you are setting goals, personal goals and health goals, right? You need to be able to test and measure, or you'll just be on to the next thing. Grab a friend. It's always better to do things with friends, a buddy system. They can hold you accountable. They make it more fun, more pleasurable. So I always suggest grabbing a friend. Have a structure in place. I cannot tell you how beneficial this is when you're trying to reach your goals. We get so sidetracked. We have so many things going on in our lives that if we don't have that structure, then we're more likely not to follow anything. So every week I sit down with my schedule and I plan all my workouts. I plan, okay, this is what I have going on. I'm going to run on Tuesday, Thursdays, maybe Wednesday. If I don't run on Wednesday, then I'm going to go do Svelte. I'm going to cycle on the weekends. And that is all in my calendar. Now, I'm all about flexibility. I think we have to be flexible in our lives. And so when things come along and you need to switch something, then I do that. But that structure is in place. And I find if that structure is not in place, if I don't have those things written down in my calendar, then I am more likely not to do them. I've observed myself doing it over and over again. So I really believe in having a structure in place. And it's really just a plan, right? And that can look different for everyone. So if you're trying to eat healthier, having a plan, sitting down and planning out that that time you're going to eat, what you're going to eat for the week, you're more likely to stick to it. Number 5, start small. I talked a little bit about this earlier. Sometimes we shoot for the stars, and I'm all for shooting for the stars. Be all that you can be. But most of the times we don't conquer those goals if we shoot way too far. So I suggest making small goals and building on the small goals. Number 6, have fun. This is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be work. So have fun reaching your goals and enjoy the process. And number 7, know why you're doing it. And I think this goes back to your values. This goes back to that cultivating self-awareness, where you are now and where you would like to be. When you know why you're doing something and when it aligns with your values, you can be unstoppable. Okay, what did you guys think? Like I said, this is part of the online class I'm developing, and I'm excited to launch over the next couple of months. So as always, questions and feedback are always welcome. Happy New Year. I think this year is going to be epic, and I look forward to spending it here with you. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast and share with your family and friends. You can also give me a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcast. It helps other people find me as well. To get updates on new episodes and wellness inspiration in your inbox, please join the Wellness Inspired community. Go to wellnessinspiredpodcast.com to sign up. I'll put the link in the show notes so you can click and join. Also, there is a Facebook community at The Wellness Inspired, and you can follow me on Instagram at wellness_inspired. If you're in the Houston area or visiting and interested in acupuncture, herbal medicine, cupping, or dry needling, please contact us. You can find out more on our website at element5om.com. That's element5, the number 5, om.com. And again, I'll put the link in the show notes. If you're interested in health and wellness coaching, we can connect in the clinic or on Zoom. Reach out to us and we'll get you on the schedule. And as always, I would love to hear your feedback. I am dedicated to bringing you great content that is inspiring and informative with an artsy, fun, and edgy spin. Thank you so much for listening. We'll meet here again next time. And remember, never stop exploring, learning, loving, and being you. Bye.